Now, for the latest on Libyan political crisis, I'm joined live via Skype from Washington by VOA digital editor Hassuna Baishu, who is also a native of Libya. Hassuna, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you for having me, Esther.
Now, help us understand what sparked the latest feud that saw so many people killed, the fighting continuing in Tripoli.
Well, it's the same old saga for Libya, right? You have political factions vying over the control of the government and resources in Libya, and always the civilians basically pay the price. It's the same scenario over and over again. On Saturday, as you mentioned in the report, more than 30 people actually were killed because of clashes between rival militias in the heart of Tripoli, the city. That is the most populated city in Libya. Over 2 million people live in that city. And the militias are fighting basically in behalf of politicians. You have mainly two governments, one in the eastern part of the country that is led by Bashagha, who was recently installed by the Libyan parliament. And you have another government in Tripoli, and it came to power by a UN-mandated body, and its mandate was to go to the election by December 24th last year. It did not take place because there was no consensus around the constitutional basis, and here we have it. It's going to happen over and over again until either we have elections or one of the people in the conflict, one of the parties of the conflict will prevail.
So what seems to be the major differences between the two leaders?
Well, when it comes to Dbeibeh is a businessman who, as I told you, he was appointed by the UN mandated body. And the other Prime Minister, Bashagha, the main differences between Bashagha and Dbeibeh is that Bashagha reached out to the eastern part of the country, namely, when I say eastern part of the country, we're talking about General Khalifa Haftar, basically, because he's the one that is factually and actually controlling that region. So he made this alliance with him, and with the help of the Libyan parliament, he was, given and appointed as a prime minister. And that's mainly that's the reason. That's the differences between the two men. But when it comes to going forward with the election, both of these people are saying that we need to go to election. But when it comes to in the ground, their action does not reflect their intent.
So, Hassuna, the diplomatic community in Libya, also the international community, including Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, have raised concerns about the future of Libya. Who can the two warring parties listen to?
They don't merely listen to anyone. And what happened on Saturday is a perfect example. The international community has been pushing for election for so long, and have been trying to find a compromise between the two political factions. But whenever they feel, the political class, whenever they feel that they're going to lose power, they don't shy away from using violence, even against civilians, in order for them to stay in power. So they don't technically listen to international community per se, but what they can do, the international community, and especially the U.S., because a lot of Libyans think that the U.S. has a moral responsibility towards Libya. As we all know, what happened in 2011 and the NATO and the country has been devastated ever since. So superpower like the U.S. and other countries, especially in Europe, they have responsibility towards Libya. At least that's what Libyans think.
Hassuna, thank you so much for your analysis. Hassuna Baishu is a VOA digital editor and a native of Libya.